Hey, hi and hello guys, welcome to our UiPath Impulse channel. Hope you guys are doing good. And today we are going to see about filter table. So previously we have seen how to work with read range and write range activity, and also we have seen how to work with read cell and write cell. And today we are going to see how to read the data from the Excel and how to filter the data table which we have read from the Excel, and how we are going to do a further operation with that filter data table. All these things we are going to see in this video. So let's take a scenario. We have some 5 conditions which we need to do it. 5 steps which we need to do it. The first is we need to read the Excel data. And the second step is, after reading the Excel data, we need to filter the data only with the employee in the marketing department. So let's just open the input data. So let's delete this. Okay, so this is our input file. So in our input file, we having employee name, employee ID, department, and hire date. So in the department, we have marketing, finance, and IT, and HR. Okay, now let's go to the. So here in the second point, they're saying filter the data only with the employee in the marketing department. So it means we need to filter only with the people who are all in the marketing department. Okay. So here we can see in the given input file, we have 1, 2, 3, 6 marketing employees presented. So all these employee needs to be filtered, and we need to add a new column for updating the status. So here we need to add a new column and update the status as sent offer letter. So for all these employees who are all in the marketing department, they have released the offer letter. So we need to mention the status as sent offer letter. And finally, we need to create a new sheet with the sheet name as marketing. So finally, we need to create a new sheet as marketing and write all these filter data table into that marketing sheet. So this is what we are going to implement. So let's get started. So let me just give the particular. Okay. So let's hit on save and close this. Now, as per our requirement, we need to read the Excel data. So for that, as we know, to use a Excel application, we need to use a Excel process scope, and follow to that, we need to use Excel file. So let's drag and drop the use Excel file, and let us indicate where our input Excel file path is available. And now we are going to use a read range activity. Now let's use a indicate in Excel option to indicate our range. So just select until wherever data is available and hit on confirm. So once we hit on confirm, we can see. And now we are going to create a new variable called dt employee details. So all this data which is there in the Excel sheet will be stored into a dt employee details data table. So once we done that, we need to filter those data with the employee only who are all in the marketing department. For that, which activity going to use for us? So it is filter data table. Let's drag and drop the filter data table. And now, so in which data table we are going to filter? It is DT employee details, right? So we need to mention DT employee details. Now what we are going to filter? So we are going to filter in this specific column, in the department column, we are going to filter only the employee who are all in the marketing department. So let's copy the column name and go to the filter data table activity with the double quotes, give the department name, and in the operation, choose contains. So here, out of all these departments, whichever the employee is having the department, whichever the employee contains in the department of marketing, so we need to filter it. So now we are going to copy the marketing from the Excel sheet. That's it. Hit on OK. After filtering, we need to store that into a filter data table. So I'm creating a new filter data table. Filter, let's say, filter employee details. So let's check whether how our bot has filtered. So for that, as we know, output data table will be converting the data table into text. So let's use a filter data table and create a text variable. Okay, now use a log message. We can use a log message activity or write line and the message box as well. So currently I'm using a log message activity, and in the log level, choose a info. So now go to the debug. So let's use step into, let's go by step. Okay. Hit on step into. So now in the locals panel, we can see the variables and the values in the variables. So let's hit on step into, again step into. So API is busy. Okay, got it. So you can see, so in my Excel, so in our input Excel file, it is already. So I'm just closing this. Let's stop and rerun the workflow again. So here, read range. So you can see the employee details is null. So in the locals panels, now after our bot has made an action for this activity, so you can see all our values is stored in the DT employee details. So likewise, after filtering, we can see in the filter employee details, let's see whether a bot has filtered. So you can see we have an employee only with the department of marketing. Now hit on OK. Now let's see. All this message will be displaying in the output, like how we have seen in our locals panel. Okay, so that's it. Now let's move on to the next step. Our next step is to add new column for updating the status. So to do that, we have an add data column activity. Just drag and drop the add data column activity. So what is the column name here? Let's say we need to have a status, have a column name as status. And in which data table we are going to write the status? So it is DT filter, right? And now what is our next step? Update the status as sent offer letter for those employees who are in the marketing department. Okay. So to do that, we need to update each row. So as you can see in the output, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 people who are in the marketing department. It means 6 data rows we need to loop through. So to achieve that, which activity is going to help us? It's for each row in the data table. Let's drag and drop the for each row in the data table. And so in which data table we are going to work on? It's DT filter employee details, right? Let's copy it. And what is the requirement here? We need to update the status as sent offer letter in each row. So to do that, we have an activity called update row item. So let's drag and drop the update row item. Now, what is the value we are going to write? It is sent offer letter. So copy it and within the double quotes, paste it. So in which row? So it is the current row, because our for each row is going to loop through all the 6 data rows which is available in the filter employee details. So one by one, row by row. So for that, we are going to mention here as current row. So this current row we will be mentioning here. So what is the column name? Whether we are going to mention the column number or column name. So it is good to mention the column name. So where we can get the column name. So the column name is here. So this is the new column which we have given, or else we can also. Okay. Now let's see whether our status is being updated as sent offer letter. So as of now, we got the output as this. So in our next run, we are going to see our new column as status and send offer letter. Let's save and run this workflow. Okay. So here it didn't update the status. Let's check what happened. Okay, got it. So what we have done is, so we have used this output log message in the middle. So what we need to do is, we need to okay, filter data table. So it is saying that it is not in the scope. Let's increase the scope. Okay. Now you can see the error might have gone. Okay. So yeah. Now let's see the result. Instead of text, we can say result. Press Ctrl K and result. Yeah. So we can delete this text. So everything's fine now. Hit on save. Output. And we need to use this. We are going to delete this log message. We are going to use the log message at last. Result. In full. Okay. Now let's hit on save and run the file. Now, if we see the output, we can see our new column, the status is being added, and our update row item has updated. The data has sent offer letter for all the employees who were in the marketing. Okay. Now our last requirement is create a new sheet with the sheet name as marketing and write those data into that sheet. For that, we already know we are going to use the write data, write data table into an Excel. So what we are going to write? We are going to write the data table, which is filter employee details. And where is our designation? So as per our requirement, we need to create a new sheet name as marketing. So by default, our Excel can have a capability to create a new sheet. So we are just going to mention the sheet name within the double quotes. So we need to use the, so now we don't require these. Let's drag and drop the here. Indicate the sheet name, and the sheet name will be marketing. Okay. So we are just indicating our new sheet name. So as you go and see in our Excel file, so we don't have any other sheet apart from sheet 1. So now in our UiPath Studio, we are going to write all these filtered information into the sheet called marketing. Okay. Now let's hit on save and run this workflow. Let's close this Excel file. Yep. So our automation has run successfully. Now let's see our Excel sheet. See, now you can see we have a new sheet with with all the employees who are all in the marketing department and having the status as sent offer letter. So it's very simple, right? So do practice. Practice is very important. Now let's go through once again. First, we have read our Excel data and we have filtered the data table only with the employees who are in the marketing department by using a filter data table activity. And after that, we are adding a new column as status to update the status. And to update the status, we are using a update row item. So to update row by row, we need some kind of loop activity. So for each row, we need to update. So we have for each row in a data table activity. So inside the for each data table row activity, we are using the update row item. After doing all the updates in the status with respect to the employees who are all in the marketing department, we are going to write all the filtered information by creating a new sheet as marketing. So that's it. So we have successfully completed this scenario. So the activities which we have used here in this activity used here. So this will be very useful scenario for the beginners. Add new and data column and data column, and to update the status we have used a update row item. And what is the another new activity we have used, which is for each row in data table. So that's it. So hope you guys like this video. So let's meet in another video, another exciting topic. So until then, bye bye. If you do like this video, if you feel the content is useful, please do subscribe and like and share this video. And also do practice. Practice. Thank you so much. Bye bye. We'll meet in next video. Thank you.